It's been 25 years since the city of Indianapolis has hosted an NBA Finals game. Well, tonight, the city hopes the Pacers can solve the Thunder and in doing so, win their first Game 3 of this postseason. Can anyone slow down the MVP? SGA set a new record for most points in the first 2 games of an NBA Finals career. Meanwhile, Tyrese Haliburton says his lower leg injury is just fine. But how will he be feeling after 48 minutes of basketball tonight? Game 3 is just 90 minutes from tip.
It's one of the wonderful aspects of the OKC team. You never know who's going to have one of those nights. SGA, full display.
You can't just throw the first punch. You got to try to throw all the punches. We threw enough punches tonight to get a double.
Gilgeous-Alexander and OKC with a big response.
Still a race, first to fourth. We're going on our home court, tied 1-1. We love playing at home, love playing in front of our fans.
Game time live at the finals presented by YouTube TV. Come on in to Gamebridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana, as we set the table for Game 3 with Oklahoma City and Indiana both tied at a game apiece. Well, we've got quite the star-studded crew here. We've got a pair of Hall of Famers. We've got my second favorite Grant Hill. That's Charles Barkley over there.
You mean 3 Hall of Famers, don't you? Not a pair of Hall of Famers.
Future Hall of Famer and 3-time.
It's just a lock.
Thanks, Chuck.
That's the nicest thing you've said all night.
It's a matter of time.
Candace Parker, in fact, the only one on this set here that's won a championship.
Oh, we're just starting off just shots fired early on.
There you go.
That's what we're doing.
There you go. Half man, half makeup, starting fire already.
I like your vest, Jared.
Well,
I really like the vest.
It's a 3-piece kind of night. Charles has got the vest. Do you have a vest on, Grant?
I don't.
No. This is Candace's championship with Chicago. It's a banner year for Candace. Thanks for taking time out of the book tour to join us here tonight. It feels, guys, like this is
like a roast
game.
I'm like, where's Chelsea Handler? Is she going to pop out?
Yes. Somewhere around here. Charles, do you get the feeling that the winner tonight wins the series?
I do not. I think this, to me, is going to be a very interesting game because I did not like the lineup change that cost them game 1. I don't think OKC, I thought Shea shot too much the first game. I thought it knocked him out of whack. So tonight, the Pacers did what they wanted to do. I think tonight is going to be an interesting game because, like I say, we had the same situation when Avery Johnson did it for the Mavs 100 years ago when they had the best record and he changed his lineup, ended up costing the Mavs that series. I think this is going to be I think OKC's got to win one of these next 2 games or they're not going to win the series.
I think that the old saying, role players play great at home and stars have to carry you on the road. And I think in game 1, you saw the confidence that Shea had going into that game. You saw the depth of OKC. You saw Indiana turn the ball, live ball turnovers. But in game 2, for me, Indiana, they took shots that were like turnovers, and it ignited OKC's offense. So I think definitely the role player is going to play better for Indiana. But it's one of those things where Indiana has run all year. That's their strength. But can you run with OKC and take solid shots? But the Pacers have to get, to me, they have to get this game.
G. Hill, does the winner tonight win the series and the championship?
Not necessarily. I mean, this series, I think will I think they'll split the 2 games here in Indiana. But tonight, look, the Pacers did what they were supposed to do in OKC. They got a game. They come out of game 2. Everyone's saying, it's a foregone conclusion that Oklahoma City is going to win. This Pacers team, like Candace said, they not just the role players. As a team, as a collective in this building with the crowd, It's a frenzy. They can get their fast break going. I think their defense can be better. What they did against New York, a different team, different style of play, but they took New York out of their comfort zone with their defense, and that ignited their offense. And I thought Oklahoma City did that to them in game 2 with their defense. So but I think it's easier at home, is more comfortable at home. And this fast break, this sort of high octane offense can really ignite here in this building in game 3.
Yeah, and I don't think game 2 meant anything, to be honest with you, because it reminded me of game 5 in New York. The Pacers just like, We got what we wanted. We're going to come home and close them out. So people overreacted to game 2. I said, game 1 was the big game. That was a huge game. So now the pressure switches back to the Pacers. But I thought game 2 didn't mean anything to me, to be honest with you.
And Chuck, to your point, in game 1, it was almost like OKC was dominating without separation.
Yeah.
Like, the Indiana Pacers, despite turning the ball over as many times as they did in that first half, they were still within a striking distance. And so, they're going to have Tyrese Haliburton be aggressive going north-south to me and not east-west, because not necessarily to score, but to put pressure on the Thunder defense.
Well, let's look at Tyrese Haliburton, who's been the topic of conversation the last couple of days since game 2. His offensive numbers significantly down so far in this series, averaging just 15.5 points. And he has yet to take a free throw. But I think the bigger question here is his aggressiveness, and particularly in the first half, right? Where the Pacers have made a living, guys, of digging out of holes, but it's not certainly where they want to be. Double-digit first-half deficits in the first 2 games of this series, Grant, and Tyrese Haliburton has only taken 4.5 shots over the first 2 games in the first half. That's way down from what he did in the regular season and even in the first 3 rounds of the playoffs when he was taking nearly 7 first-half shots per game.
Well, no question. Haliburton has to be more aggressive. Their best player. Obviously, he's had big moments in this postseason run. But the reality is he's not a guy that wants to shoot the ball first. He's really a ball mover. He's a guy that wants to ignite the offense. And you almost have to, at times, get him to want to score, to look to be aggressive. He doesn't want that, though. It's a little bit like Chuck wants to be a good golfer, but he's not. And so Haliburton, he's got to come out, set the tone. And it's not just scoring. It's what Candace said, being aggressive, attack, get to the paint. Those paint touches create opportunities for their offense, for their shooters, making plays for himself and his teammates. When he does that, as he's going north and south, not east and west, this team is at their best.
Yep. But also, I don't think it's that simple, Jared, either. This Oklahoma City team, they have the most versatile defenders on the perimeter in the NBA. Like normally if you switch, there's a disadvantage or an advantage. They got 4 guys out there that can guard any guard in this league and make their life tough. And Haliburton's not a player who goes one-on-one a lot. So this is going to be a long series for him. I think the one guy who really has to step up has got to be Siakam, in my opinion. Him and Miles Turner. Those 2 guys got to step up because Hallie did not play well against them during the regular season for a reason. They got a lot of guys that can guard him.
Well, Candace,
Haliburton.
I just want to show you this graphic to that point, what Chuck is saying. Not only is Haliburton's attempts down, but his supporting cast, their shooting is down. In fact, Haliburton is the only player who's raised his field goal percentage over the first 2 games of this series as compared to the first 3 rounds, compared to the other guys. The top 7 scorers, all of them are struggling to shoot the ball from the field here over the first 2 games.
Well, you talk about what Haliburton's aggressiveness does to other guys. Look at Siakam, plays out of the pocket. Look at Turner, plays out of the pocket pass. So when Haliburton is going north and south, and a lot of sometimes numbers lie, because Tyrese had 3 points at half in game 2 and then really kind of exploded it to start that fourth quarter when the game was already out of hand. So I think Haliburton, from an offensive standpoint, like Grant said, has to get paint touches, which will then unlock open shots for Miles Turner and Siakam. And again, you cannot mess around against this OKC team, putting the ball down, not going straight to the basket and playing around, because they're going to take it and it ignites their offense.
By the way, these are live pictures right now. Our award-winning director, Elisa Deans-Davis, showing us that Tyrese Haliburton and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander are warming up simultaneously right now. Pretty cool sight behind us here on the court ahead of game 3. Maybe one of the more shocking Candace stats of this series. And listen, I know Haliburton's not SGA who gets to the free throw line, but he has not gotten to the free throw line at all. 0 free throw attempts through 2 games.
And I think what Chuck said, that's a testament to OKC's defense. They they extend catches. They make things difficult in the pick and roll. When he's going right, they're putting 2 on the ball and making Tyrese Haliburton get rid of it. I think a lot of the times they're able to have the depth, which everybody talked about. Hey, Coach Dagnall, you can't play this depth in the playoffs. Well, guess what? They have. they're comfortable switching. They're comfortable making things difficult. And that's hard for a point guard to get your reads when you have the length, the athleticism, the switchability on the other end.
And what they do to continue with that point, Candace, they pack the paint. So you have 5 sets of eyeballs when you go one-on-one. There's no room to get to the basket, but they're elite at getting out and recovering the shooters. So that athleticism and that commitment on that end, and then the depth you talked about, you can play that way when you play a lot of guys. Look, 20% of their offense in the regular season came off of turnovers. And it's not something that they don't, I talked to Mark Daigneault during the regular season. They don't teach like going for steals. It's just a byproduct of how hard they play and how they make you uncomfortable on the defensive end. But as we were saying, Haliburton, McConnell, even Nembhard, their ability to get into the paint creates opportunities. They just weren't able to do that in game 2.
Yeah, and I think that they got to use some of that strategy they used against the Knicks. Even when OKC scored, they got to push it. They got to push it. They got to push it. But like I say, the 2 guys to me who got to step up, number 1 is Siakam, and it's got to be Miles Turner, because those guys got to use their size. They got to run some post up in the half court to me, because this team is not going to I don't know if you can get in a running contest with OKC.
Good chug. Siakam in the post. Caruso guarded Jokic. So it's almost like I feel like
but that's a different animal. Caruso can't guard Siakam. The Joker is not athletic enough. As great a player he is, he don't have the great athletic ability. If they put Siakam in the post, I don't think he can guard him. That's just my personal opinion. I love Ernie's son.
TJ McConnell.
But that's not TJ McConnell.
Oh, Alex Caruso.
Alex Caruso, pardon me.
Wrong guy.
Wrong guy.
I get the white guys confused sometimes.
I know,
sorry.
all white people look alike. So listen, I just think they need to put him in the half court. That'll help Siakam, in my opinion.
Game 3 has been, if you want to call it a struggle for both of these teams. OKC just 1-2 in their first 3 rounds. Meanwhile, Indiana 0-3 in Game 3 so far this postseason. Got a lot more to do as we lead up to tip of Game 3 of the NBA Finals. When we come back, 3D finds out what the Pacers' secret sauce is.
You look at these 2 teams. Both go deep, 10 deep, both can shoot the 3. But how has Rick Carlisle prepared you guys to really believe in what you're doing right now?
It's not like there's a whole bunch of superstars in each team. We're going tit for tat. And that's what I think the final should be about, just the best competitor. So with Rick, I think there's a mindset with him. He's really prepared us for war. But overall, you got to look at the big picture. So it's an 18, 19-day process. Those NBA Finals is, and they'll take it day by day.